Do this, Randy.
Okay, recording in progress. Okay. So we're going to wait for maybe a minute. Welcome anybody who's already joined us. And we'll just wait 1 minute or so until we start, I guess. Bernie, is that okay with you?
That's fine. Yes. Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Welcome to tonight's presentation, How to Deal with a Racing Mind. I'm Randy Height, Director of the Nancy Marx Cancer Wellness Center at Sid Jacobson JCC in Roslyn, New York. The Nancy Marx Cancer Wellness Center offers a caring community offering holistic support and services to cancer survivors in any stage of their diagnosis. Services include exercise classes taught by cancer exercise specialists, discussion groups, short-term individual counseling, programs such as this one, and more. All of our services are virtual and are offered for free. If you're a cancer survivor or know a cancer survivor that can benefit from what we offer, please go to our website that is listed in the chat box. This program was originally designed for cancer survivors only, but it was soon realized that everyone can benefit from learning how to slow things down for even a couple of minutes. I'd now like to introduce our presenter for this evening. Berni Kozlowski taught biology and chemistry for 25 years, coached and ran a summer camp. With a type A personality, she thought that rest was her 1 week vacation or when she was sick. She thrived in doing things for others and didn't take care of herself. In her early 40s, health issues popped up and she went through a period of profound grief after suffering from 3 life losses in short order and was struggling. I will let Berni tell you the rest of the story about how she became a meditation coach and why she feels the need to share her knowledge with others. Berni, welcome.
Thanks, Randy. Hi, everybody. It's great to be here with all of you and to share a few tips with you tonight. We have an hour. I can't give you everything, but I'm going to give you 3 very useful techniques that you can go home and start practicing right away. Because if we can interrupt that stress response, our body, our mind, our spirits love it. And the magical thing about this style of meditation is that we're built to do it and wired to do it. We just have to allow it and give permission for it. So why am I here teaching meditation on a Tuesday night to a crowd in New York? I can't believe it. I taught biology for a long time, ran a summer camp, was involved in a million things. And I thought I would do that the rest of my life. And, you know, as Randy was saying, you know, some major losses. I lost my mom to cancer and lost a life partner very painfully. And then my dog died all in a very, very short period of time. And I didn't know how to cope because I knew how to get things done. And I didn't realize my state of overwhelm was my normal. I just thought I liked getting things done and doing for others. And I didn't realize the level of stress my body was under. So I went from being perfectly healthy to some health issues that kept getting a little worse and a little worse. And it ended up with pneumonia in the hospital the first day of summer camp, when I thought as the director, I was the most important person in the world. The camp with, you know, 500, 600, 700 people that week couldn't run without me. And I ended up in the hospital and almost died. I felt my spirit leaving my body. And I said, I'm not ready to go yet. I almost died. And I remember lying in the hospital bed that whole week saying, oh, I get to rest. I get to rest. I didn't admit that to anybody for a very long time, but I just wanted to rest. And it's not okay in our culture to rest unless you're sick or you're on vacation. And if you've got kids, especially, vacation is not always restful. So anyway, the purpose tonight is to give you some quick tools to learn how to rest in ways that are short and effective. So anyway, I went through all this stuff and I realized I can't keep going this way. And I heard about this women's getaway weekend that somebody told me about. And this is about 1.5 years of grieving over my mother. It was my identity. I didn't have a great wellness center like you guys have to help support me. And it was very, very much a struggle for me. I would cry, go to work, go home, cry, and repeat for a year and a half. So anyway, I go to this weekend retreat, and part of it was meditation. And I sat in the back of the room with my arms crossed going, what's this woo-woo stuff? No, yeah, I'm a science teacher. I don't know. So anyway, I said, all right, I'll try it, whatever this is. And I felt something shift in me. And I went, oh, this is why people say they like meditation. So I went home and I wanted to learn more. So I get on the internet, how to meditate. And I was blown away by all the stuff that was there. Some of it was way out there. I didn't even know where to start. So I get a book, how to meditate. First, close your eyes. Well, how am I supposed to read the book, right? And then somebody gives me a video to watch, and I put the video in, and I wish I'd kept this, but the guy said, okay, stare at a carpet with your eyes half open, half closed for 20 minutes. I'm like, shoot me, I can't do that. There's no way. So I ended up going away for a week-long retreat. Instead of going to the beach that summer, I went for a week up to a place called Kripalu in Massachusetts, week-long meditation retreat. And I was nervous because I'm like, this is not my realm. I don't understand this world. And it's going to be serious and hard work. And I'm picturing people in white robes and sitting cross-legged. And how am I going to sit cross-legged? I have bad knees from basketball. I was just scared. So I get up there, and I didn't do much research. I just went, and I get there, and the first session, everyone's kind of getting settled into the room, and they turn the lights down a little bit, put some music on. Everybody just danced for 5 minutes. And I went, oh, this might be okay. And the guy teaching the class turns out had his PhD in meditation. And he started talking about the biology of it and the physiology of the relaxation response. And out of all the people in the world I could have met, he's the one I needed to meet. So I combined my biology background with the relaxation response with this style of meditation called instinctive meditation. So anyway, I go to that retreat, changes my life, and I come back and I'm still teaching biology. And I go into my classroom, and a couple of months into school, I'm starting to feel myself getting revved and anxious again. And I went, okay, I've got to start bringing this into my classroom. So 1 minute every day at the start of class, I didn't ask permission. I just started doing this. Let's do a little mini meditation. And at the end of the first week, as the kids were leaving the room, one of the boys, Ryan, said, Miss Kay, I needed that minute every day. I would not have made it through the week without this. And then I went, oh my gosh, our young people are stressed. This culture of stress as much as the adults. And all they're looking at is the adults being stressed. And that's what they have to look forward to. And so my goal is to work with people, adults, young people, to start to change this culture of stress, to reduce overwhelm by some easy techniques and understanding the biology of the relaxation response. And if you can buy into the idea that this is a natural biological response, what's really neat is that it's as fast as the stress response. Our bodies want to do it and they crave it. So it can be really quick. So I'm going to share 3 different techniques with you tonight. So we're going to jump right into the first one. And this first one is a memory meditation, and it involves memories and your senses. So meditation is a natural state, right? I'm fortunate enough here for a few months. I'm living at the beach in Ocean City, New Jersey, and I can hear the waves, through the door here. I'm that close. So for me, a beach is a natural meditative spot, or being in the woods, right? And so what we're going to do is spend time in your natural meditative places where you're like, oh, I just feel so good to be alive, right? And we'll take some lessons from that, right? And the really interesting thing is your body and brain don't really know the difference between being in a memory and actually being there. You'll hit the same neural circuits in your brain. So I thought this would be a nice, easy way to jump in. So when you're ready, there are no rules in my classroom. So, and I can't see you, but feel free if you feel like laying down on the floor or curling up in a ball on the couch or in your recliner, or you get an urge to go be in a different room, that's fine. All right. So what I'm going to have you do is think of 1, 2, or 3 of your favorite memories of your life when it felt great to be alive, when you were really present. This can be profound moments like the birth of a child, or it can be an everyday moment like watching a butterfly go by. It could be moments from your childhood or moments from this morning. It doesn't matter. Think of 1, 2, or 3 of your favorite memories. And now place yourself back in one of those memories, and feel free to bounce from one memory to the other or come up with something different. There are no rules here. So put yourself back in that memory and take it all in with your whole being, with all of your senses. Give yourself permission to take delight in that moment once again today. Meditation has been said to be resting in awareness of something that you love or something beautiful. So let's explore this memory of yours with a little more detail with your senses. If one sense doesn't make sense to you, feel free to go to another sense or another memory. So let's start with the sense of vision. I am aware of seeing. It's a trick to say I am to yourself. It puts you back more in the present. I am aware of seeing. Release your eyes from any control and let them move wherever they want to go in this memory. Maybe you notice colors or shapes. Maybe something beautiful in nature like the waves crashing, or the sight from a mountaintop, or the face of a loved one. I am aware of seeing. And linger there for a little bit. And then open up your sense of hearing in those memories. I am aware of the sound of. Be willing to be surprised by what you remember, what sounds you recall. Maybe it's the sound of music, of laughter, the sounds of nature. The sounds might be loud or subtle, natural or man-made. I am aware of hearing. And then consider the sense of smell. When you spend time with memories of smells, the part of your brain where smell is very closely associated with emotions. So don't be surprised if you feel strong emotions. Welcome them as you're able with this gift of your memory. I am aware of the smell of. Maybe remember the lilac bush in your backyard as a kid, or the smell of chocolate chip cookies on a snow day. Maybe the smell of that first barbecue in the spring, or the smell of the salt air at the beach. I am aware of the smell of, and linger there for a little bit. And then shift to the sense of taste. I am aware of the taste of. And if there's no taste in your memory, either just go back to some other part of your memory or think of your favorite food. I'm aware of the taste of. Maybe you remember Sunday dinners at your grandmother's house. Maybe your favorite meal ever in a restaurant. Or what you're going to cook this weekend for a family gathering. I am aware of the taste of, and linger there for a little bit. And then lastly, consider the sense of touch. I am aware of touching or being touched by in my memory. Maybe you remember the sun on your face, the breeze on your skin, holding the hand of someone you love, or being curled up underneath your favorite soft blanket. Where in your memory is touch? I am aware, I welcome touching or being touched by, and linger there for a little bit. And now return to whichever sense you enjoyed the most and linger there a little longer, or take these memories in like a symphony, taking everything in at once, and linger a little longer in these beautiful memories. And then if you'd like, stay there for the rest of class, or if you'd like, start to transition yourself back. Maybe with a little movement with your hands or your feet, a stretch, a yawn, a sigh, a gentle twist, whatever feels right for you. And then if your eyes were closed, when you're ready, open them once again, and just taking in your surroundings. And then become aware of the inside of your body. What sensations are in your body right now after spending time in those lovely memories? Do you feel any different from the beginning of that? So if you'd like, feel free to throw up in the chat room what one or two of your memories was about, or what that experience was like. When you're in these natural meditative moments, your body relaxes. When you're sitting at the beach, you just don't have to do anything about anything else. You can just be. When you're rocking a baby, right? I'd be surprised. A lot of you probably went to outdoors. I'm seeing being at the beach in Southern California. If I'm in a group in person and I ask for a show of hands, probably 70 or 80% of people describe an experience of being outdoors in nature. And we don't spend enough time outdoors. It's a natural meditative spot. Lori said, I had a hard time picking something. My mind went from memory to memory. Can I do this? Absolutely. What's beautiful about this style of meditation, there are no rules, right? That you can move from one thing to another. Your awareness will move, and that's okay. Your body naturally knows what it needs to do. And sometimes you'll do a memory meditation and it'll just stay with one. And sometimes you'll bounce and end up somewhere surprising. Yeah, that's totally normal. Memory of sailing, that's wonderful. Visiting day at summer camp, that's great. Praying at dusk at Bear Mountain State Park. Oh, goodness gracious. These are your natural meditative moments that you guys are writing about. And the reason I started with that tonight is to know that meditation is as easy as any of these things you're saying, what you just did and what you experienced. Meditation is no different. So when you go to meditate on gratitude or breathing, or nature or your senses, anything, it's no more effort than being in your beautiful memory. Somebody said 3 out of 4 outside. At my son's wedding, right? My grandson and my senses experiencing him. Yeah, these are beautiful. All right, these are beautiful. So keep in mind, this is one way to meditate, and it's a way to meditate, but it's also a way to teach you what your natural meditative states are. So you can do a bunch of things with this little exercise. I'm trying to give you a lot here tonight to take home with you. You can just say, what's my favorite memory? And do what we just did. And you might just do the whole picture with all your senses, or you can go through them one at a time. You could also give it a category. What's my favorite memory of playing a game? Or what's my favorite childhood memory? Or what's my favorite vacation memory? Or what's my favorite memory from school, if you have one, right? Or what's my favorite memory of laughing? What's my favorite memory of a holiday, etc. So it's really endless what you can do with the memory meditation and actually really experience it. The other thing you can do with that meditation is take any of the senses and practice opening in your senses, right? Because we know watching a sunrise is meditative. So that's vision, right? Or it can be touch of the warmth of the sun on your skin. So in your everyday moment, you can practice just, I am aware of seeing, right? So you might be taking the dog out tonight after class and you just look up at the stars. I'm aware of seeing, or I'm aware of the touch of the cool air on my skin. The more you practice opening up your senses, the more you wire neural pathways for a richer life and a richer meditation, right? My vacation in Kenya and Tanzania. Oh yeah, on my bucket list. Great. Well, thanks for sharing all of those. The next exercise I want to do with you is a teaching point, but also a skill of meditation. The way I was trained was based on research done on studies across all sorts of meditators of different traditions, whether it was contemplative or Zen or transcendental or mindfulness, any of it. And here's what was found. In order for any meditation to be effective, one of the first things you have to do is say, I give myself permission to rest, which means I don't have to fix anything right now. And so meditation is resting in awareness of something beautiful, something lovely. Let's talk about permission to rest first. So I'm going to have you guys do this exercise in a couple moments on this idea. This is one of the most powerful things I teach. It's life-changing for a lot of people. But we're going to go through the exercise and then see what was hard or easy about it, and then we'll tweak it and then we'll do it again. So the only thing I'll ask you for this, 2 things. 1, your eyes can be open or closed. There's no rules about having your eyes closed. And number 2, you have to mean this in your belly. This is not an intellectual exercise. I'll give you a story. I was working with a young lady named Lindsay, and she knows I tell this story. And she went to the doctor. Her cortisol levels were double normal, starting to have health issues in her late 20s. And the doc said, I want to put you on meds. She said, not yet. I'm going to try something. Bernie, will you work with me? Yeah, Lindsay, let's do this. Let's get on the phone. Let's work together. So I said, Lindsay, give yourself permission to rest. And she has this beautiful, like, sharp edge about her. And not all of what I'm going to say is what she said out loud, but this was the tone. Yeah, this is what she said. I give myself permission to rest. Whatever, this is stupid. And at the end of the minute, she says, my heart wasn't in it. And I went, really? I couldn't tell. And so we did it again. And this time she actually felt it in her belly that she gave herself permission to rest. At the end of the minute, she went, oh, I felt that. Okay, yeah, I get that. So we worked together, and 2 months later, she goes back to the doctor. Her cortisol levels are normal. And all she did was add meditation in. But it all starts with permission to rest. So it doesn't matter what tradition you're exploring. This is it's like a mini vacation, like a beautiful spot that you're in. So when we do this, you can say this out loud, obviously, or quietly to yourself. And again, this is really powerful, and words are really powerful. So, and then we'll hang out for a minute, and I'll let you know when that minute's up. So when you're ready, eyes open or closed, with some feeling in your belly, I give myself permission to rest. That's been about a minute. Now, I coach sports a long time, and meditation is resting in awareness, but I can't see you. It's an invisible sport. So I'm going to ask you, as you're able, to throw up in the chat room what was easy about that or what was hard about that, because there's going to be a lot of different experiences. There's 70 of you here in class right now, so some of you were like, yeah, that was easy, and others are going to say that was hard. I'd love to hear especially the good and the hard, so we can start to remove some of these obstacles. All right, so permission to rest means think about good and not bad memories. Not necessarily, right? You get to choose what memories to go with, but sometimes something else will pop up for you, and you can linger there if you'd like, or not. You can say no, thank you. And we're gonna talk about this here in a moment. Yeah, I'm gonna come back to this. Doesn't mean think about good and not bad memories. I'm gonna bring this up again. All right. Head keeps thinking about things. Very common. Hard to concentrate on one thought. This is what I hear from people. I've worked with about 5,000 people over the last 6 years, and what you guys are saying so far is what everyone says. There are so many distractions around me. This is so difficult. Husband just came home and dog is barking. Yes, yes, totally normal. All right, we're gonna talk about this and hopefully make this less difficult for you. It felt good just to breathe, but my mind was racing. Again, that's the most common thing I hear is I have a racing mind. Easy today was very special. Surprisingly, I didn't think of anything. It was very quiet. I almost fell asleep. Lori, that was only 1 minute, right? So I'm gonna come back to all your questions here and kind of answer them as a bulk on your comments, because this is really interesting. Just by saying I give myself permission to rest and hearing your kind voice was not difficult. That felt good. Permission to rest means feeling chest expanding and contracting. Yep. I immediately went to I give myself permission to be. That seemed more natural. Barbara, thank you, thank you, thank you. What Barbara just did was a rebel. Teacher said, do X and I want to do Y. In any style of meditation, you are your own best guru, and you're always going to tweak and change. There are no rules in this style of meditation, right? I've had other people say permission to do nothing works better for them, right? Or pretend to nap works for them. So permission to be, whatever resonates for you, tweak it so it feels natural. You could pick up a book of meditations and 2 or 3 of them might work for you, and the other 10 are like, no, those don't work for me. And often people will say, I just have to work harder, I'll get it. You know best. So Barbara, thank you for that. I relaxed from shoulders down to seat bones. I melted into the couch. Thanks, Sandy. Sandy, I have no idea what your experience is in meditation, but it sounds like that response was like that quick because your body knows how to meditate, right? The stress response is that fast. The relaxation response can be that fast if we learn a couple tricks here. So thank you. That's a good range. Some people will say, that was great, I felt relaxed. And other people are going to say, that was hard, my mind was racing. And I could do the same exercise right now, and half of you might flip-flop and go the other way. I love this affirmation, made it easier to keep my mind away from wandering. Okay, so let's go ahead and address now, because a lot of you have talked about a racing mind, and this is often this feeling of overwhelm that this workshop is about. People struggle with thoughts and meditation. I want you to go back to your memory. Maybe you were sitting on the beach somewhere, or holding your grandchild, or at a wedding. When you're in these beautiful, natural, meditative moments, did you tell yourself, stop thinking? Go away thoughts? No, probably not. You just went, oh, isn't this great? I'm so happy to be here. And when thoughts come up, you're like, oh, I'm 3 hours away from home. I can't do anything about that. I can't fix it. So permission to rest doesn't mean a blank mind. Permission to rest does not mean non-emotional. Permission to rest just means I don't have to fix or change or solve anyone or anything right now. I'm on vacation, even if it's for a minute. And that hands off is really important. So where does this idea that we're supposed to stop our thoughts come from? It comes from sometimes this misinterpretation of a monastic tradition that you're supposed to block out the world. And that's where your peace comes from. This style of meditation, and that style of meditation works for people sometimes. What I'm finding is a lot of people like this approach of, I don't have to fight my thoughts anymore. So how do I do this? So when you have thoughts, first of all, thoughts are normal. You might have 60 or 70,000 of them a day. They're normal. And for us to think we can say it's time to meditate and we can stop them is near impossible. So here's what happens for most people in meditation. Again, it's an invisible sport, right? Time to meditate, everybody. Okay. Gosh, I'm having thoughts about my to-do list. Go away. I'm having thoughts about the neighbor's dog barking. Go away. I'm having thoughts about that conversation I got to have with my significant other. Go away. I'm trying to meditate. And then we go, why can't I do this? Everyone else in the room said they're just relaxed and melting into the couch. So in meditation, a lot of people are doing this. Go away. Why can't I do this? This and this is fighting. This and this is stress response. What if instead we said, come on in. I just don't have to do anything about you right now. Here's an analogy for you. Think of meditation as spending time with your best friend, okay? I haven't seen one of my dearest friends in a long time. Her name is Lucille. And when we finally get to sit and see each other, if I say, Lucille, how have the last 2 years been? What's going on? How are you? Tell me. And Lucille starts telling me her thoughts, her feelings, her emotions, blah, 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 blah. And if I say, Lucille, shut up, I don't want to hear from you, she's going to say, I thought we were friends. So when you sit with yourself in meditation, as you're able, you welcome thoughts, feelings, and emotions. But like a good friend, you just go, I don't have to fix you right now. I don't have to solve your problems. I'm just going to sit here with you. Do you ever have a friend that you go and you kind of go blah, blah, blah? And they're like, well, I don't know why you feel that. This is how you should fix it, or this is how you should feel. And you're like, would you just listen to me? And this is what you're doing in meditation. So I welcome thoughts, feelings, emotions. I just don't have to fix or change or solve anything right now. And our body goes like this. So when you meditate, when you're at the beach, you don't try to stop your thoughts. But what's happening is they're percolating in the background and they're moving and they're moving. And that's when they feel like they're not stuck in you. And they're going quietly in the background pretty much, or more not in the background. I'm going to give you one more little analogy here. I call it my dam analogy. This is an old school phone book, if you can believe it. But anyway, let's call this a dam or a wall. And during the course of your day, your week, your life, stuff piles up behind this wall. Thoughts, feelings, emotions. It could be your to-do list, right? It could have been, oh my gosh, I got this great package in the mail from my sister today and I can't wait to open it after class. Like, yeah, right? So all this stuff, good stuff, bad stuff, recent stuff, old stuff is behind this wall. When you rest, what happens is the dam drops. And when the dam drops, stuff moves up and over the wall to be felt, to be given a little bit of attention. Most people see this as failure and they go, slam the wall back up, let's keep everything behind. And instead, our bodies really want us to feel or experience this in a restful state. So when you meditate and the wall comes down, you will have thoughts, feelings, emotions about your everyday life, your to-do list, things going on at work, things going on with your loved ones. If you live a normal life in the real world, when you meditate, you're going to have thoughts, feelings, emotions, sensations. It's normal. And if you just let them move, they don't get stuck. If I keep my wall up the whole time, my body puts them in my neck and my shoulders and my gut. It might be somewhere different for you. So in this style of meditation, we welcome the journey that is life, because our lives are not like a monk's life, right? A monk lives in a monastery, same outfit every day, time to pray or meditate 8 or 10 hours a day, taken care of into old age, roof over the head, health insurance, etc. No, I'm totally generalizing, but a monk's life is very different. People living in an everyday world are very busy, and in their meditation, we welcome all parts of ourselves as we're. Could you try? Sorry about that. As we're able. So now there are times where you say no, right? I might be sitting to meditate 2 minutes before class, and I'm grateful for my mom. Oh my gosh, she's been gone 11 years. I got to stay together before class. No, not right now. Or something really big comes up, and you go, maybe I'm not ready for this. Let me call my therapist, right? So as you're able, you say, come on in. I just don't have to fix or change or solve anything or anyone, right? So this whole exercise is just simply, I give myself permission to rest, and you practice being with yourself like being with a good friend. It's that simple, all right? So in this exercise, we're not going to try to pay attention to anything specific. We're just going to pretend we're sitting with ourselves with whatever's there, right? So I'm going to talk a little longer this time, and then I'll be quiet for a full minute. So it's going to feel a little bit longer. Okay. You guys ready to try this again and just be open for it? Okay, great. So again, with some feeling in your belly, I give myself permission to rest. I welcome thoughts, they're normal. I might have a lot of them or none of them. They might be fast or slow. I might have emotions. There might be things going on in the room around me or next door. I might have sensations in my body. I welcome it all as I'm able. I just don't have to fix or change or solve anyone or anything right now. I welcome all that I find, like being with a good friend. I give myself permission to rest. All right, so bring yourself back again. And if you'd like to throw up into the chat box how that experience was different or better or worse, or any ahas that you had, did you feel anything different? Sometimes, like Vicki talked about the dog, maybe it's a little not as distracting and just go, oh, I don't have to do anything about it. Stephanie, calmer. People will feel that calmer, not because they force themselves to get calm. It's because they just want to, don't have to do anything right now, unless there's a true emergency going on. Good. It was easy again. Great, Karen. One time I went for a bike ride, and I came home from the bike ride and I had 10 minutes before I had to get showered and dressed and go teach a meditation class somewhere. And I went, my old me was like, oh, I've got 10 minutes. What can I get done? I can do 5 chores around the house. I'm still pretty active. But I went, let me meditate for 10 minutes. And I had a lot to do to get done. And then I had to get down and teach a class and do all this. And for those 10 minutes, the first 9 minutes, my thoughts were racing. But I learned just to be like, oh, that's normal, whatever. And the last minute I went, and I felt this deep relaxation. But the rest of my evening went really, really well because I was rehearsing and reviewing whatever was coming up in a relaxed way. So I didn't try to have an empty mind. I didn't fight it. Now I might lay down to meditate tonight, and for 10 minutes, I might have 9 minutes of bliss and 1 minute of a racing mind, and they're both equally good. So we just welcome ourselves like a good friend. All right. All right, so that's your second exercise. Your first one is to memories and senses, which is a whole mix of meditations. The second one is a skill of meditation. And if you just practice, I give myself permission to rest. I don't have to fix or change. Thoughts are normal. Emotions are normal. What'll happen is this, you'll start being more responsive and less reactive to crap going on because you've practiced saying, I don't have to fix that right now. And you'll have more energy for what really needs to be fixed. And you won't be overwhelmed by constantly feeling like you have to fix everything that's going on or deal with everything. It's not possible. And the language is really, really important to practice these words because our culture says it's not okay to rest. We feel a tremendous amount of guilt if we're resting. I've had people start crying during this exercise. I've had other people say, I wonder what else I can give myself permission to do. There are no rules. So when you practice permission to rest, you're learning to let things move over the dam, to be with yourself. And the trick here is to find something you really love and to meditate upon. So all this stuff is kind of happening in the background. This myth about a blank mind, if you just read any of there's research out there on what really your brain does when you're resting. So if you were to take a functional MRI of your brain when it's active and engaged in everyday stuff, certain parts of your brain light up. When you're in a rest mode, different parts of your brain light up, but it's still really, really, really active, because this is when you're making ahas and connections and you're sorting and you're house cleaning and decluttering. And your body knows how to do it and wants to do it and craves it. All right. So that's your second exercise, permission to rest. I really recommend it in times of transition during your day, maybe before you leave the house, in between chores at home, in between phone calls, before you have to shift from something serious to lighthearted or vice versa. It's a great way to kind of hit a reset button. All right. Any questions on that exercise? Feel free to pop them in or save them for the end here. That's fine. All right, so we've done a memory meditation with the senses. We've talked about one of the basic skills of instinctive meditation. I give myself permission to rest. And your words, language is everything in this style. Language is everything. I give myself permission to rest is powerful. Your physiology will cooperate if you really mean it and understand what those words mean. I want you to do a little exercise here on how powerful your words are. I just want you to say to yourself, my favorite food is, and think about your favorite food. Is your mouth watering right now? Most of you are probably saying yes. Whatever you're thinking about, your mouth is watering. And all you did was say, my favorite food is, and you're producing salivary amylase, your stomach, your pancreas, your small intestine are all doing things to get ready for whatever's coming down the pipe here. I give myself permission to rest, and your body goes, thank you. Thank you. But you have to mean it and understand that rest does not mean bliss. Rest does not mean empty mind, right? Rest just means you don't have to fix anything. All right. One other way to look at this is sort of like, let's say you're in a coffee shop, or you were in a coffee shop, right? You're reading a book or the newspaper, and you're enjoying your coffee or your tea. And all of a sudden there's commotion over there by the door. And you go, I'm with the book, Oh, there's something over there. Oh, okay, my book is more interesting. And this is what happens. Let's say we're meditating on gratitude or breathing, and the dog barks, or somebody's running upstairs, or I'm thinking about my to-do list. You just give it attention. And then when you're ready, come back to whatever your technique is that day. Or you can stay over there if you'd like. You just don't want to push away or shove. And when we have thoughts, feelings, emotions, we want to be careful about putting them in a box and say, go away, right? They're part of us. So our third exercise today is going to touch into a little bit more of the biology of being aware of our surroundings. Most of our human existence, let's say, was in small tribes of, let's say, 30, 40, 50 people, okay? And you had to be aware of your surroundings. If we were in our cell phones back then like this, you're not going to see dinner walking by, or, an enemy coming from a nearby village coming up, right? You're not going to live very long, right? So we had to be aware of our surroundings. And now we tend to be like this. Now, if you notice, we've been in class 40 minutes and I haven't used the words focus or concentrate, even though it's a meditation class, because this is more of an open awareness style of meditation. So if you are aware of your surroundings, your body will naturally start to feel more relaxed. So we're going to do a little visual meditation tonight. It's a quick hitter. And we're going to do a meditation on colors, okay? We could do anything. We could do movement, we could do trees, but let's just do colors tonight. It can be a fun one. And it doesn't matter what room you're in, where you are. This can be done indoors or outdoors. It can be done in your imagination. If you're kind of in a room with a lot of color, you can just, when I mention a color, think about your favorite color and where you've seen it, all right? This won't be too long. This will be about 2 or 3 minutes or so. And just kind of let yourself linger with whatever you'd like about the colors. And we'll go from there, all right? So first, your eyes can be open or closed. I give myself permission to rest. I don't have to fix or solve anything. Meditation is resting in awareness, and we are only aware through our senses, and vision is one of those senses. So let's explore this one aspect of vision, color. Red. I am aware of the color red. Notice if it pops in the room around you, or something red pops up in your memory. Maybe you say red doesn't resonate with me. That's okay too. We'll just stay there for a little bit. And then let's move to the color blue if you'd like, or stay with red if that's where you want to be. Sometimes just saying blue, you'll notice different blues pop up. Linger if you'd like. Move to something else if you'd like. Just notice how your awareness shifts when you call up the color blue, and welcome whatever journey is there for you. And then let's shift to the color green, if you'd like. And switch to the color yellow if you'd like. Orange. The color black. White. And then for a few breaths, either go back to whichever color you enjoyed the most and linger there a little longer. Or maybe there's a color I didn't mention and that's where you want to be. Let yourself linger a little longer with some color that catches your attention. And then gently bring yourself back. Maybe a stretch, a yawn, a little movement. Noticing if you shifted at all in the last half hour or so. And how it felt to be aware of your surroundings in that effortless way. This is a great meditation to do when you're outdoors, indoors. If you've got kids around, it's great to do with kids. If you're walking with a friend, you can do this. And you can just say, all right, blue until you're bored of blue, and then you pick a color. And people are often surprised that it makes them smile or feel really relaxed. Now, if you found that you hated that meditation, kudos for you for acknowledging and feeling that, because there's tens of thousands of different things to meditate upon. And so you've gotten 3 different things tonight. Maybe you liked one of them. And that's all you need. So again, just to wrap up before I take questions here, if you guys have questions, start to think about them and put them up in the chat room. We're trying to address the question of overwhelm tonight and give you a few techniques. And when we're overwhelmed, we feel like we have too much to do. And in this case, we step back a little bit and say, I don't have to fix or change everything. I give myself permission to linger with something that I love, that nourishes me. And it can be only in really short spurts. It might be all you need to feel nourished again, to kind of get yourself collected. You can do memories, your senses. There's a whole combination there. Permission to rest, or do something with a specific sense like color. What do I love about the color red or green? Or let it pop around you. And by being aware of your surroundings physiologically, when you have situational awareness, you feel safer. Your vagus nerve will be stimulated. It'll calm down the physiology in your body and help reduce overwhelm. So hopefully you have 3 different techniques to practice with and play with. And I know this is only an hour, but I tried to give you some really good tips tonight that are practical and easy to use, that you don't necessarily need to be guided by somebody. So feel free to pop up some questions. And I was joking earlier. I was teaching biology and chemistry, so sometimes I'd ask questions and the room would be quiet, and I'm okay with that. There's lots more I could share with you, and you guys might be too relaxed to even hop on the computer there and type. One question I often get is, how often do I need to meditate? And there are no rules, right? So it's what works for you, and the best thing to do is to experiment. So I could say meditate 20 minutes twice a day, and most of you are going to say, I don't have 20 minutes twice a day. That makes me even more stressed. It might just be, maybe you'll try, I don't know, 5 minutes in the afternoon of a memory, and maybe 1 minute in the morning of permission to rest, and maybe look for spontaneous moments. Like when I go down to the mailbox to get my mail, right? Or, go down the building and I go across to the park, what colors am I going to see? So I'd say really short spurts and do a mix of structure and freedom, structure and spontaneous. So you might say, all right, once a day, I'm going to do 5 minutes of this. And then I'm going to look for a spontaneous moment to do memories, right? And so do a mix and then keep tweaking it until you find your sweet spot. I don't like to meditate right before bed. I like to do an outdoor meditation, and then I like to do a laying down meditation most of the time. Sometimes it's a seated meditation. Everybody is different. I don't have rules for everyone. So the best thing to do is to experiment with that. Lori asks, meditation help you to stop yourself from reacting when you get upset about something? Yes. And here's the trick, is that permission to rest is where people tell me after practicing for a little while, someone will say, what are you doing differently? You don't get upset about things as much. Because when you're meditating with the attitude of, I'm spending time with something I love, I don't have to fix or change or solve anything unless it's really important. This is when you stop getting reactive. All right. It doesn't mean you're never going to be upset, because emotions are normal. That's a whole other class. Emotions are normal and meant to be felt, and they tell us what's going on around us and how we should react. But we often feel we have to fix everything. And so, yeah, that's a great question, Lori. Practicing permission to rest is the best thing that you can do for that, and making sure that you find something that nourishes you in meditation that you love. Susan, did the meditation help you to cope with your grief, and is meditation to help yourself sleep any different? All right, 2 questions. The first one, coping with grief. Yes, personal experience. I came to meditation out of profound, deep grief that had me barely functioning. And so for the 1.5 years after my mom died, grief was my identity. That was my identity. I couldn't get out of it. That was it. And then I get into this meditation thing. I learn it. I start teaching it. Boom. And then 10 years later or so, my dad dies. And I felt the grief. And actually, I felt it more intensely in shorter spurts. But here's what would happen. I would be like, okay, permission to feel it. And I would be like in a puddle on the floor, feel it really deeply. And then I'd be like, okay, time to go for a walk in the woods. Let's go. Life is good. So I was able to ride those natural waves of grief more profoundly, because with my mom, I just kept the wall up, and I kept everything behind the wall, I didn't deal. With my dad, I relaxed and it'd come down, I'd feel it, and then it would move, and I'd be like, oh, okay, and then off. And so I grieved very intensely with my dad, but back and forth. The other question, is meditation to help yourself sleep any different? No, not at all. If you fall asleep in meditation, it's okay because it just means you're sleep deprived. And often that dropping into sleep is a meditative state. And so using meditation to fall asleep is wonderful and fine. There are some rules out there that say, oh, you shouldn't fall asleep in meditation. That's garbage, right? If you fall asleep, great. If it helps you fall asleep, great. And you have to experiment. For some people, they'll meditate and they're energized and ready to go again. So meditation at bedtime is not good. Other people, they wake up in the middle of the night and can't sleep, and they'll do a meditation to fall asleep. And it might be permission to rest. They might just feel the weight of the blanket on their body. They might do a little body scan. They might listen to a sound in the room or a sound in the house, and it'll help them fall asleep. So hope that answers your questions, Susan, with that one. Do I have guided meditations available on YouTube or another platform? I don't have anything posted out there, but what I can do is send a couple things to Randy to share with the list, if that's okay, Randy. And I'll give you, I'll give you like 2 different guided meditations to have for that. Any other questions? Well, this has been a real pleasure being here tonight. I could feel your energy, even though I couldn't see you guys. And I appreciate, Randy, the opportunity to be here, and Jamie for your help tonight in running the show. And I hope to see you guys again at some point.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you, Bernie. I believe that so many people who are on this webinar tonight are going to have wonderful tools to use when they're feeling stressed in the near future. So I'll be happy to get back to you and let you know when people get back to us. Look at all of these accolades. And yeah, and hopefully we'll be able to do this again.
I hope so.
Everybody,
you're welcome, everybody.
Yes, thank you so very much for taking the time out of your evening and for attending this program. We thank you and hope to see you all again soon.
Great. Good night, everybody.
Good night.